Okay, students, this is going to help teach you how to multiply binomials. So a binomial is when we have two terms and we're multiplying by another two terms. Terms are separated by a plus or a minus sign. Okay, so when we do this, I'm going to show you a couple of different ways. The first way I'm going to show you is to use the distributive property. So we're taking term number one and we're distributing it to the terms in the second binomial. So for the first one, 3x times 2x, this is going to be 6x squared. So if you think about this, if we look at this down here, 3x times 2x, we can multiply this in any order we like because of the commutative property. So I like to do 3 times 2 first, which is 6, and then the x times the x is x squared. If you remember with our tiles, that big square was an x squared tile and it had a length and width both of x. So the first is this 6x squared. The second product we're going to do is 3x times a negative 5. Now be careful here, you always want to take the sign to the left. So if it's a minus 5, we're going to use a negative 5 for this. So this is saying, I'm going to do my work here too, 3x times a negative 5. And that is going to be a negative 15x. Okay, so I'm going to use a different color to show the next set of distributions that I do. Now I'm going to distribute a plus 1, a positive 1, again to each term. So 1 times 2x is 2x, and then I go to this next one, which is a negative 5. 1 times negative 5 is negative 5. So when you're multiplying these binomials, you should end up with 4 terms. Now what we're going to do now is we're going to look at this and see, are there any like terms? Like terms, so just as a reminder for that, if we have like terms, that means we have a term with the same variables to the same power, same exponent. So right now I see that this is x to the first and so is this. Those two terms can be combined. Okay, so when I'm combining those terms, again, I want to think this is a negative 15x plus 2x. I'm going to bring down the 6x squared because 6x squared has nobody to combine with. Negative 15x plus 2x is a negative 13x. And then I bring down that minus 5 because there's no other constant to go with negative 5. This is your final answer. So again, when you see these binomials, right now we can see, right, they're squished up next to each other. That means multiplication. We can use that distributive property. Okay, I'm going to show you this again. If you're good with distributive property, that's fine. If you want to see another way to do this, I'm going to go ahead and scroll down and show you another way. So we're going to use the exact same problem, which is 3x plus 1 times the quantity 2x minus 5. And I'm going to show you how to do this with a generic rectangle. And so we can put the 3x plus 1 here. It doesn't matter where you put it. And then we're going to go ahead and draw our little area model. So when we're doing this, we want to find the area of each of these 4 little squares, okay, or rectangles. So this dimension, it's 2x by 3x. That's the dimension of that rectangle. And if I multiply them together, I get 6x squared. Then we have a negative 5 by, this is still 3x because this guy is in charge of this piece here. So 3x times negative 5 is negative 15x. Okay, we're going to continue on finding the area of all 4 of these little rectangles. This is a 2x because here's that dimension, 2x by 1. 2x times 1 is just 2x. And then we have one rectangle left, and that one is going to be a negative 5, because that's this dimension, by 1. That's this dimension. Negative 5 times 1 is negative 5. Now our job is to go ahead and add all 4 of these small rectangles, all their areas, together. So something you want to look for is if you can combine anything. And often what you're going to see is this diagonal is going to have like terms. And so we're going to want to combine those. So their answer should be 6x squared. Negative 15x plus 2x is negative 13x. And then we add that negative 5 at the end. So notice either method, you're going to get exactly the same product, but you're going to use the one that's easiest for you. You can also still use the algebra tiles if you'd like to do that. And I can make a separate video for how to use the tiles. But I would say one of these 2 methods, either distributive property or using the generic rectangle, is probably going to be the most efficient use of your time for these problems.